Good evening, everybody, and welcome to The Robots Are Coming. Today, that I take a little bit of a turn and talk about searching, Google searching, Bing searching, any search you can name it on the computer. I want to talk about that today because it seems like searches are really running our lives as far as how we get information. Used to be you would look up in the yellow pages or dial 411, but now it's all about searches, starting with the Google search. Google is huge. Didn't always start off as big, though. In 1999, it took Google 1 month to crawl to an index of about 50 million pages. And then in 2012, the same task was accomplished in less than 1 minute. Things that Google used to do, now it does almost billion times faster and bigger. In 1998, there were 10,000 search queries per day. Now, so much faster. I mean, just in 2006, they were doing 10,000 search queries a second. Imagine what it's like today. In 1999, it was 3.5 million a day. In 2000, it was 5 times that. In 2004, it was 200 million a day. It's running our lives, and it's much, much easier now with voice searching. So the voice searching adds another dynamic to this. And in fact, about 20% of searches are done by use of a mobile device. Actually, more than half of searches are done with a mobile device. 20% of those are done through voice. Now add in the fact that we have things like a Google Home and Amazon Alexa to that. Voice will become increasingly more and more in use. It'll become more and more prevalent. But that kind of depends on the technology. That kind of depends on the accuracy of how well a Google Home or your Google Assistant or your Amazon Alexa recognizes the words that you are speaking. So right now, let me see if I can pull this up here. Accuracy rates. In 2013, Google's platform had a word recognition accuracy rate of below 80%. Just a couple years later, it rose to 90%. Now, I think the best one out there by a smidge is Baidu. This company called Baidu. It has about 95% accuracy rate. And they're trying to get to 99%. Bet if they get to 99%, Google will get there too, which will make all of this more and more prevalent. So what does this really have to do with, our demise because of robots? And maybe it doesn't. I mean, it'll serve to make things a little easier, that's for sure. Tell you what, it'll already affect businesses, though, because businesses optimize for SEO, right? Get keywords and such. Now they have to optimize for voice searching, which is going to be a little bit different. They are going to need to tailor their optimization efforts toward longer queries that fit with voice search terms as opposed to shorter keywords that were common with traditional searches. That's according to Forbes. But this might be displacing some people. As promoted in the book 4-Hour Workweek, Tim Ferriss, the author, I read the book. It's been kind of a while, but basically he was advocating for using virtual assistants, outsourcing like most of your work to these virtual assistants and he had advocated for, they had virtual assistants both in America and overseas. Obviously overseas was cheaper, but the thing that you sacrifice with overseas is that possible language barrier. As written right now on Quora, there was a reply, a little comment here that I will read for you, and I quote, "Unfortunately, while I enjoyed the 4-hour work week, the growth and popularity of the book has caused many small business owners in the U.S. and Canada to export local native English-speaking VAs with many years of experience, both corporate and virtual, to compete with VAs offshore who can comfortably work for 5 to 8 an hour. Many of my clients went offshore at first, but when the language barrier became too frustrating and their overloaded offshore VA was unable to meet deadlines consistently and was slow to respond to emails, they are more than happy to pay the average U.S. rate of $25 an hour." Now, the language barrier could be an issue. But when you're paying somebody $25 an hour to help with things, maybe someday that phone, that Siri that you got on your phone, is going to be able to check your email. It's going to be able to search for you. It's going to be able to create a new contact. It's going to be able to pull up the average price of so-and-so on Amazon. And what's going to happen to the virtual assistant then? My name's Chris Lazar. Thank you guys very much.